Good morning, grade 12s. We will carry on today with the pad. So I want us to try and complete the pad before the end of this week, but I don't think it will be. I've pad phase 1 this week, but I don't think it will be feasible. So let's quickly just see where we left off. Remember what I said to you the previous day, that you must also now insert your focus question. Okay, we talked about this and I have discussed it with you, so by now you will be familiar with this and know what to do here. Okay, for us, we will simply look at the rubric. The rubric tells us exactly what they want from us. If I go down, there it is, a clearly phrased, concise, researchable question that will describe exactly what the focus of the investigation will be within the broader scenario, and that is relevant to what was given in the task description. Okay, so it must be clearly phrased, a concise question will be researchable, single sentence, and clearly relevant to the focus point of the scenario or topic. Okay, that we also did by now. We had a discussion on looking at looking at the 10 questions, and then out of those 10 questions draw up one main question that will guide your investigation. Okay, we also did the tables. We were busy with the tables. We also did the bibliography information, where we took a screenshot of the source. Okay, the last thing that we must, there's two things that we still need to do for phase 1 is information evaluation. So what we will have here is for each source. So what I will suggest is here at the bottom, where we have that source on managed sources, when we set this, just going to edit anyone, we did the screenshot. We did the screenshot. I will simply take the screenshot. We said we will copy it and we will paste it here. What I will suggest underneath the screenshot of the sources, so you can do each source here as well, what I will have is a table that have all these aspects or criteria. Okay, now if I go up in the pad, it actually tells you very clear, for each of the 3 minimum sources you identified, you need to briefly evaluate the quality of information using the following criteria: the authority, the validity of all the credentials of the publisher or author, the currency, the date on which it was published, the accuracy, correspondence of the information with other sources. So here you will simply look at this source and see, but what does this source say and this source say, and what does these two sources have in common? And then any presence of prejudice, bias, skewing of information, and then coverage, how extensively the material covers the topic. So you're going to have a table like this in Word, so it will have 2 columns and 6 rows, and you'll have there for each source these words on the left hand side, and here you'll have an explanation who the author is, when it was updated, does it correspond with other resources, are there any form of prejudice, bias, or skewing of information. That simply means, are there anything that is one-sided, that doesn't tell the whole story. And then the coverage. You'll see here in the example, they just say this author, the author is a leader on the front of traveling and volunteering abroad. Currency, the article was published in 2019. Information provided corresponds with other sources. Okay, so the accuracy, to me, the people that set up the pad will most probably nail me for this, but this will be the it's quite, all of this will almost be the same in accuracy, because all the sources will correspond with one another in terms of feeding schemes. For example, they'll say the majority of children in South Africa are hungry, they don't have enough food, and then there's no bias on the web page, and the information is presented in a factual, objective fashion. There's also, these two to me will always almost be the same. Okay, and then the coverage, the article provides extensive coverage on a wide variety of volunteer programs available. In this case, grade 12s, what we can have here in coverage is it can be localized within the Eastern Cape, it can be national, okay, it can be in a certain school. So this is the coverage. To what extent does the topic feeding, or how far, or how good, or how deep are the topic covered, okay, within the content. Let's quickly look at the last thing that we will do. Summary of information found, or we will put it here in the last column. So what we will basically have here is source 1, and then the quality of information. I will also source 1 just put in hyperlinks there. Okay, you can also have a subheading here, quality of info, with your table. If you have this heading here and you make it heading 3, then you can also put in here source 1, quality of info, quality of information found. And now what I will simply do is I will put in hyperlinks here. So I'll highlight source 1, I'll click on insert links, place in the document. It's going to be a now why does my headings not show you? What's going on now? Normally if you have headings there, I wonder if it's heading 1, 2 and 3 that will be used. Okay, the other thing that we can do is, this is easy, sorry. Click on insert bookmark and just make it source 1. Remember, no space in the bookmark. Click on add, highlight source 1, click on insert again, click on link, place in this document. There's bookmark 1. This you can do with this one as well. So I will select the quality of information. Let's make it 1. Then we know it's source 1. Then what we will do is click on bookmark, and then we type in source 1, quality of info found, and then I click on add. So then I will highlight this word here as well. I'll click on link, source 1, quality of information found. So there's the one row almost completed, and now we still just need to do the summary of information found. If we look at this, they tell us here, engage and with and use data and information. Grade 12, what you also could have done here is when you draw up the question, you could have also just typed in the answer here. Okay, the answer must be in your own words, or the answer. I'm telling you the answer, but a summary of what information you have found. They tell us here, gather all information and data from the sources you identified as follows. Save a copy of each website that you intend to use in an appropriate folder. We did this. Now that you have identified and evaluated your potential sources of information, you can start to extract the relevant information and gain an understanding by summarizing the information in your own words. So you'll see here, this is an example they used of volunteer programs. The summary of information found, you can do it in bullet form, or you can write a paragraph to me, not very big, it's just a recap on what the source, the information give us. I always tell the learners, it's almost like the answers. Okay. Store the summarized information for each question in the word process file in an appropriate folder, and add hyperlinks to the last column of the questions the sources table created. And extract of this type of table is shown on the next page. So here also they have inserted a hyperlink. It's up to you. We have inserted hyperlinks here. You can also insert the hyperlink here, or if it's not that much, I like to type it there, then you can quickly just read the question and you can quickly just read the summary of information on that specific question. So if we did all of this, grade 12s, then we are almost, then we are done with phase 1. Let's quickly go to the rubric. Let's quickly run through everything here that's on the rubric. The task definition we did. That's good. Okay. The next thing that we did is the focus question. I said to you, the focus question you draw up out of those 10 questions that you got from the sources. Then here's the 10 questions. Remember what I said, at least 3 different cognitive levels, as well as 3 different categories that you group it according to. Then the sources that you must use, it's 2 websites and a journal that I use. And I also think that you can use a video if you have the reference to the video. There is the bibliography information. That is nice. I already gave it to you in the current document, or the current situation document. That information is given to you. For the journals, you can also use these. Okay. I always tell the learners when we talk quickly about this bibliography information, the managed sources, it's very nice when you know how to use this. Next year when you go to university, everything you say must be backed up by facts, so you must reference. And if you know how these buttons work, the managed sources, the main one, the insert citation, and the bibliography, it is your it is the work that you must do, because there's specific ways. We have the styles here. There are APA and Harvard is the 2 most common ones we use. So if you know how this works, it will benefit you a lot. Always get as much information as possible on each source. So if I go to manage sources, just quickly, if I click on edit, you see I always try and get the most, the volume, the issue, the page numbers. I always try to get the most information out of the source. Okay. You'll see also there's commas, there's full stops. It automatically puts everything in place. Very useful tool to use. I know there are other tools we also use for referencing. I know of online places that you can also reference, but Word has the built-in function. Okay. Then we did this aspects. I said to you, you have a table of each source, and then you have these aspects, and you just simply write there who's the author, when it was created, is there any form of does it correlate with other sources, the objectivity, no bias, and then the coverage, how broad does it cover the topic. And then summaries are completed for all questions, that's 1 mark. Summary give information available in the sources, information is relevant to the topic, and then all summaries are in learner's own words, that's 4 marks. Then the last thing, single report document presented. Okay, so if I have there my report, that's in my phase 1, there it is, so that's 1 mark. Then I have the headings, tables, all these headings that are included, that's another mark. Addendum with a diagram, screenshot of the actual folder structure, that's 1 mark. And then evidence of sources available, completed table of questions and sources table with all the columns presented, that's another mark. And that is basically 32 marks that you can get. Phase 1 to me, but don't say, there are lots of things that's not important. Everything is important, but normally the places where learners lose marks is here with the sources, and also with the type of questions they ask. Okay, that you can easily get 30 out of 32. So that is it for today, grade 12s. I hope that we can at least get 80% for PAT phase 1. I will carry on with phase 2, setting up the questionnaire and also taking the information from the questionnaire into Excel. Grade 12, it's very important that the type of questions we're going to ask you in the questionnaire, that's very important, because that will have a direct impact on what formula or functions one can use in Excel. The majority of the learners normally simply only use count if. I want to try and mix it up a bit so we can have the nested if and maybe a VLOOKUP as well. But that's for another day. Enjoy your day. See you again soon.